Hey everybody, how you doing? I always feel weird about doing openings of commander decks. Funny thing is, it's my either first or second most popular video of all time was me opening the Brothers War commander decks, which is wild to me. I know I was super excited about those, like unreasonably excited about those, um, and maybe that's what did it, and it kind of came through and all that good stuff. But like then people tend to watch, and it's like, should I really film me opening my commander decks? Because what's in them. it's no secret, right? I guess. Oh yeah, it comes with a little collector booster sampler pack, right? Ooh. So I always feel weird about doing this. I wasn't gonna buy these. I don't care about slivers. I hate planeswalker decks. I built one once and played it once and decided never again because I hate it. I wanted the Enduring Enchantments deck. Like this is the one I wanted. Yeah, and at first I was like, I'm gonna wait because this thing's gonna go on clearance and I'll buy it then because I want this deck. And then of course, then there is the Eldrazi deck. I guess there's this whole challenge of building one deck in every color setup, including colorless, right? And for me, I kind of paused and I'm like, that would be an easy way just for me to build a colorless deck, which I otherwise have very little interest in building, and I could just make a few minor upgrades to it, call it a day. And it might be fun to play. So, in the end, and then I got a good deal on them. Because, they're not selling great. they are not selling. In fact, I really have to wonder, and based on just what I'm seeing out move on TCG Player, it seems that there's a lot of shops out there that are cracking these things open just to sell singles. That's it, right? So they're not selling well as a group. And then just in a short time, when I spent some time at a store at the big release, right, and I was kind of just listening because I was chatting up in between with the one guy who works there, and people automatically were like, "Can I just buy the Eldrazi deck?" Or can I just buy the sliver deck? And that's all they were trying to buy. And they know this is happening, so they do this every time, and I don't blame them for it. They're like, nah, you got to buy them all. We only sell them in the box of 4, and that's it. And they're like, oh, but I don't want all the others. And then with one customer, he actually said to me, he's like, you buying them all? And I'm like, I don't know. I only want the Enduring Enchantment deck. And he stops, he laughs, he's like, yeah, I agree. That's the only deck of the 4 I want myself too. I'm like, yeah, right? It's crazy. It's like a really good deck. Anyway, so we're going to open these up because I'm going to open up anyway. And this video is not for everybody. Let me just say that, this is not normal content. There's no major opening packs and seeing what's inside and blah, blah, blah. Or me talking about market analysis that I do once in a while and all that. It's none of that. It's just me opening some commander decks. So you can cut it off if you want. It's cool. You don't have to watch it. If you do, cool. That's fine. Appreciate it. But I never know what to do. It's like I got a channel. So should I not do it? Should I do it? I don't know. It's product and I'm opening it. They went back to this style, huh? Yeah, I like that style better than what they did with the Lord of the Rings ones. Okay, Commander Guff. The deck I actually care the least about of them. Not that this isn't a neat character after I found out who Guff is, which I actually had no idea. And it got explained to me, and I was like, huh, that's actually kind of fascinating. But it's a Planeswalker deck. And after having my opportunity with an Atraxa Super Friends deck in the... I don't mind, and I don't always forget triggers, and I'm usually pretty good about my triggers. It just became silly. It was a game. It was me playing solitaire, and that wasn't fun. And most decks, you can sometimes get to that point where you're just having a giant turn, but that one, it felt like every single turn was just me taking a quick turn was like 5 minutes. It was silly. It was absolutely silly, and I did not enjoy it. It's not the way I want to play Magic. Not that with a landfall deck that ends up happening too, and then you have to do Scoot Swarm math. Anyway. All right, well, they're not curled yet anyway. All right, so we got Commodore Guff. I have the camera up way higher, of course, so I think at this point I could probably go a little lower. I couldn't fit everything on the camera, even with raising it up, because there's 4 decks. 2 decks is easy. Guff, Leori, yeah. Cartographer's Hawk, yeah. Path to Exile, yeah. Kazul. Okay, good. So for a second there, I'm like, is it just made of all the cards in the actual set? Because I know most of it's just reprints anyway, but... Flux Channeler, alright. Yeah, hey, Narset. That's annoying. Thrumming Birds, a Healy. Oops. Drop that Azorius Signet. Talismans. Talisman of Progress. That's a solid addition. I didn't fully look over the list. I rarely ever do. Okay, you put Mangara in here, and you also put it in the set. No wonder that card's a buck right now. Teo! This thing's like kind of expensive already. It's kind of crazy. Same thing with Ronus. Who is this guy? He looks cool. I want to know more. Legacy of Fire. What do you do? You're also kind of expensive right now. Next is the number of planeswalkers you control, huh? And then you get to add mana for the number of planeswalkers you control. That's a pretty efficient card, isn't it? It's like a Chandra that helps your planeswalker deck move. Fun. Guff Rewrites History is kind of cool. I will admit, I kind of want to buy one so I can slot it into kind of a chaos deck. And keep this one with this one. Deploy the Gatewatch. They made a theoretical mythic in this deck, so they could call it a mythic. Wait, was it a mythic originally? Was it Rise of the Eldrazi? It was one of those sets. Good question. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to say good question. Promise of Loyalty. Semester's End. Urza's Ruinous Blast just belongs. I do really enjoy Tolarian Community College for the most part. I think he is just an honestly sincere person who doesn't understand economics at all, and at least. But like one of his videos, he made a video where he was talking about Commander Masters, a set, and he's like, it's got some terrible mythics in the set. Jace Beleren, and I'm like, it's in the deck. Yeah, I know. If you go on TCG Player, it shows this. It's only in the deck. Jace Belleren's not in the set. Architect of Thought. Is that the one where it's the you win? No. Mirror Mage. Oh, that was the one he commented on. Yeah, it was Mirror Mage. Which, yes, is probably one of the worst Jaces. Spark Double, though. That's always sweet. Blasphemous Act. I'm also kind of glad they didn't take up a rare spot in the set with this, just because you already put it in just about every precon. It's got red in it. Which is a fine addition. I have absolutely no problem with that, because it's Torch of Defiance. This, personally, is one of the few Planeswalker cards I not only play with, I adore. This card's awesome. It just does so much. Sarkhan, Nahiri, Narset, yep, Planeswalkers. Other Narset, yeah, Oath of Teferius, that's not bad. Chainveil, that's the big reprint. And it came down a lot. With just being in the Commander deck. It's kind of surprising. Larry Nevin's Disc, and Silent Arbiter. That card is so annoyingly good. And of course, let's face facts here, folks. Mystic Gate. Let's face facts about the lands, because I know that's the one thing everybody keeps getting super mad about. Not everybody, but a lot of people, right? The one area they don't seem to sink the resale value on, or the secondary value on, is lands, right? So if they start putting them all in Commander decks, then they can't put them in other sets. That's what's... not that I agree or disagree, it's just the reality, because people are like, with the cost of these, they should have shocks in them. Yeah, you're partially right, but also, shocks kind of sell a set. So, what are they supposed to do? I know, people are going to say, how about you just do less reprint sets? Yeah. 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 Yeah, but the conference call for Wizards was pretty interesting. It kind of strikes me as something I've been wondering about. So they have to buy printer space, like way ahead of time, right? And then they were coming out of kind of a boom in the game, in which case, if you are the type of company who isn't highly conservative in your choices, you could have taken that as, and don't get me wrong, companies did this, it wasn't just Hasbro, this is a thing. You made plans based off some of that growth that took place in that period, thinking that like the gravy train was never going to end, and the gravy train ended. not only did the gravy train end, the economy kind of went to crap, right? It's not the worst it's ever been, but it ain't great out there. A lot of people are struggling. It's not. I know I had this conversation recently with somebody, and they were listening to me like, "Is this coming out of you?" I'm like, "Yes, it is. It's not great out there for a lot of people, and it's not cool." And I don't know how to fix it either because I can't fix it. Anyway, so where was I going with that? I don't even know. Do you really have to put an ad card there? I know I probably complain about that every time. Oh, out of the stuff I opened for myself, I did not pull the borderless Grand Abolisher, and I wanted one. That's actually pretty darn sweet. And then Faithless Looting. Hey, I forgot what channel it was that owns a game store and was kind of talking about this as they were opening these decks and selling them. That they said they were averaging $10 to $15 per. That's an average across all the boosters that they were opening. What do they call them? The get you hooked boosters, the sample packs. So they were like averaging for that store, and it's probably come down some just because we're past the official release now. But yeah, it was averaging like $10 to $15 per one. So when they take into account what they pay the distributor for the product, where they're selling the singles for, then it's got these extra little boosters in there. Like it was just like an extra chunk on every single deck they were selling. It's crazy. And with cards like that, I could see that. It's a foil Grand Abolisher. I'm super stoked about that. Anyway, what should I do next? Sliver? But anyways, back to the other thing I was saying. Yeah, so they have to buy printer space way ahead of time, and I don't know how far ahead of time because I don't work for Wizards, and I have no freaking clue what their planning structure looks like. But I do know for a fact that they got to buy it way ahead of time. So they have choices to make. They have to plan out their future. They have sets planned way ahead of time. I feel like half these products have already been designed for a year before they actually release. Yes, there's another problem where it's pretty clear that none of the teams are actually talking to each other because I don't think they're actually allowed to, which is causing certain things like Dublin season being in back-to-back sets, which I don't believe is actually intentional. I actually don't believe that was intentional. I believe somebody screwed up out there. Or it's just because no communication between one of the two. Anyway, so they planned for all this growth, fired up the printers much higher, printed way too much stuff, way too often, and they had to make some comments that they sound like they kind of understood they did that, and now, as they're getting past the point where they've already paid for the printer space, they can start to chill out a little. I don't think they're going to go full chill out. Let me just be honest. Hasbro has a choice to make as a company, and stopping some of that profit gravy train isn't a great idea for them. Your own personal tutor. Shout out to Heroes and Legends. There's a good hit. And a counterspell. Yeah, I see why they were saying that. Obviously, they've come down a little bit since then. Like that personal tutor is probably $7 now, whereas it would have been $15 just a couple days ago. And they were actually selling things. Like people were actually buying these things at that time. Pre-release was going nuts with this product. All right. Sliver Grave Mother. Yes, this card is already kind of expensive. People want it for their existing Sliver decks. At time of this filming, the borderless ones are going for like $25 a pop, non-foil. Ruka Ramel. Winged Sliver, Clot Sliver. Hey, we're doing all the Tempest Slivers. That's fun. Crypt Sliver, Blade Sliver. I don't know these slivers because I never played slivers. I was never into it. It seemed like an easy button to me. And it's not a bad thing. I'm making it sound like a bad thing. Okay. They definitely didn't go shallow with the slivers. Sheesh. Oh, wow. Herald's Horn. That's cool. Pillar of Origins. What are you? Oh. It's not a bad little mana rock, is it, in a deck like this? Or is that a new card? I doubt it. I've never seen it before. Seems cool. Ender's tapped. Boo. Boo. I think that's the kind of card people were complaining about, right? Boo. Boo. I guess it does grab a plains or an island, though. Budget. All right, we got Regal Sliver. new card. Taunting Sliver, new card. Titan Littjara is a Littjara. I'm a big fan. I think it's a cool card. I did pull an extended art, and I am making plans on what to do with that card. Lazotep Sliver, so new ones. Capricious Sliver. Descendant's Fury. I've read this card 10,000 times. I get what it does, and each time I'm like, but why? For the Ancestors. Good card. Hatchery Sliver. Bone Sight Sliver. Cleansing Nova, because you can't put a better one in here. Of course, I think you did over in the Enduring Enchantments, didn't you? I guess I'll find out in a second. Synapse Sliver. Crippling Fear is a cool card. At home in a deck like this, definitely. Realm Walker. Cloud Shredder Sliver. This, Hive Lord. I didn't know you put that in here. Hey, you actually put one of the better Sliver Lords in here. Yeah, I know people are still mad that like First Sliver's not in here or Sliver Legion's not in here. I get it. At the $80 price point, I understand. I'm not arguing against that reality. And lands. More cards, stuff. Constricting Sliver. Jesus, Sentinels. Sinew Sliver. Oh my god. Distant Melody. Windfall. Okay. I've had enough slivers. I guess I could build a sliver deck if I really, really, really want to. I don't. Let's just never into it. If you're into it, that's not an indictment of you. Let me be clear. A lot of people love their slivers, and that's cool. I'm gonna do Eldrazi's. So yeah, are they actually going to decrease printing? Are they actually going to go that way? I think we all agree that they need to, and especially as we get into this, let's face some facts here. Analysts right now are expecting a 2 to 4 year slump in the economy, which means that they'd be really smart to slow down the printers. I made a comment, and half the time people do, and I admit when I'm wrong about things, like right off the bat, a lot of these Commander Masters cards fell a lot harder than I thought they were going to fall. Let me just say that for the record. I was kind of wrong on a bunch of them. They fell way more. Way more. Like I kind of go to Song of the Dryads. I didn't expect that thing to go down to like $2. I did not expect that. I expected it to hover around 5 to 6, which still would have been a pretty good drop. But nope. Went further. That's okay. But sometimes we got to also, when we were right about things, and my concern about Commander Masters, more so than anything else, wasn't so much the price point. It wasn't so much what they put in there. It was that you came out with it right after you came out with Lord of the Rings. That was my concern. And I'd said as much in videos. I think I said it in a few videos, actually. I had a concern about that. Because Lord of the Rings was an expensive set. I know it wasn't as expensive as Commander Masters, but let's be clear, it was an expensive set too. It wasn't cheap. And people bought it. People bought a lot of it. People really, really liked that product. That sold like gangbusters. That did incredibly well. And it's not going to go out of print anytime soon, as it probably shouldn't with that type of popularity. It has that Modern Horizons 2 type popularity. Hey, another Grand Abolisher. All right, doubling up. And I'll always take a foil command tower in that beautiful artwork. So coming out with a super expensive set, right after you came out with an expensive set, that's a lot of rough going, man, for a lot of people. I don't really think they understood that. You're asking a lot for people to spend that much money on back-to-back sets. So that's a lot of waste, isn't it? Waste aren't cheap. That's actually value, isn't it? Huh. I mean, you got to have them in here, but still. I feel like that's why they never did a colorless deck before. So we don't want to put lots of waste in there. They're worth money. See, look at the printing on that. This is a frustration of mine with the Commander decks. And almost like, sometimes almost like if there's one I really like, I kind of want the extended art version. Because then it doesn't look all faded out and terrible. And I'm assuming if I don't get this sleeved up right after the video, it's going to curl up. Anyway. So, Zoodalok's cool. Zoolodoc. Omarthus is cool. These two don't feel like they belong in the same deck. I'm confused by that. Anyway, like they're cool by themselves. Together, they don't make any sense to me. Like I feel like if you're building Zul'Adak, you got to take Omarthus out, and vice versa. Oh, you put Lightning Greaves in a precon. Ha! I know you just printed it in the set, but still. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do a little sprucing up of this deck and use it as my colorless deck. Arcane Lighthouse. So, I just found out about this. I want to rant. Rant time. Wizards. You just came out with a set in which 4-pack collector boxes are $200, draft boxes are $260, and set boxes are $350. You made this one of your mythics. It was a solid addition. There was nothing wrong with Kozilek being an addition. Okay? The Great Distortion hadn't really been reprinted. Yes, it was in a secret layer, but it hadn't really been reprinted. It was a fine addition. But then you went and put it in the Commander deck too? That's why it's $2 now. I was sitting there and I'm looking at it and I'm like, why the hell is Kozilek the Great Distortion so cheap? What the hell happened here? This happened. And I didn't know they did that. So Robert's Table, friend of the channel, made a comment. He's like, I'm pretty sure one of those slots in either the set or the deck was supposed to be Emrakul and somebody screwed up. And I'm like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to guess it was the set. All right, anyway. This is a neat card. Calamity of the Titans, Desecrate Reality. Flayer of Loyalty is also kind of cool. Razi Eldrazi. There's a lot of beef in this. Darksteel Monolith. There's some new cards in here that are cool. Endless One. It That Betrays is a card I think is an absolute nightmare and it's great. Oblivion Sower. I don't know you. I'll read you later. Eugene from War of the Spark. Of course, this is the perfect addition. Ooh, Ancient Stone Idol. To throw in Forsaken Monument. To throw in Spirit Dragon. That'll work. Colossus. Yep. Mystic Forge. Gotta love that in a colorless half artifact deck. I hate Perilous Vaults. I will pull that out of here just because I won't play with that card. Soul of New Phyrexia. Transmogrifying Wand. You gotta have removal and it's colorless. It's not the easiest thing to do. Of course, in some decks, that's actually not... Like, that would actually go really well with... Wait, would it go well with Omarthus? Oh, is that only creatures? Yeah, that doesn't go well with Omarthus. I thought about adding that to one of my counters decks, Transmogrifying Wand, and I just kind of go nuts with it. I never did. Considered it. Anyway. Let's get into the last one, the one that I am actually excited for. Enduring Enchantments. Not that I need to build another Abzan deck. You know what's funny when you really think about it? Isn't there really just certain single colors, guilds, shards that you tend to go toward, right? So when you're building decks, and then I look like Jeskai, and I'm just like, I should build a Jeskai deck, and I just don't feel it. But then there's Abzan, and I'm like, yeah, I could build like a dozen Abzan decks right now. It's weird. All right. Let's see what's in the last one here. I'm going to guess it's going to be a personal tutor. And I'm not mad about that. No, it's not. It is Neheb, so we did get a mythic. That's cool. I know it's not a big money mythic, but Neheb's still a strong card, and it's a mythic. Not often you get a mythic out of those little things. I see what they were saying, though. I mean, look at the rares. Rare and mythic. That's... In pre-release, my god. You would have cracked like all of these. Sold singles, opened up those little things, sold singles. My god. Oh, people don't want to buy those decks? No problem. We're fine. We're good. Clearly, I'm just doing a lot of off-the-cuff talking in this video, which some people out there really hate. It's kind of funny like that. Some people are just like, "You're pack cracking challenge. Just do that. Stop talking." If I stop enjoying the channel will disappear. Let me just tell you that much. None of this is done for money, okay? Let's just be clear about that. So if I don't enjoy it, it goes bye-bye. And you may not care. That's fine. That's absolutely. So what does this card do that makes it so expensive? This is a good moment to actually look at it. For each player, exile up to one target non-saga, non-land permanent that the player controls until it leaves the battlefield. So it stays in turn for 3 turns, though. So you do one each turn. Oh, man. So you kind of do a little bit of cleaning house. And then you put out freaking Avacyn. Does that Avacyn also give everything else indestructible, or does it just have all the keywords? But then everything comes back into play, right? After it turns into Avacyn? Huh, interesting. Yeah, there's some cool cards. This is like Boon of the Spirit Realm. That's neat. Undo Spirit Dancer. That's cool. Cacophony Unleashed is cool. Demon of Fate's Design's a neat card. I've looked heavily at this deck. Ghoulish Impetus. Composer Spring's a neat card. Nyxborn Behemoth. I feel like there's 2 other decks I want to put that in. Felidar Retreat's always a good addition. Grasp of Fate. Great enchantment. Oh, OG Heliod. Okay. Didn't know that was in here. Makes sense. Assuming, what's the more recent one? Oh god, I can't remember the name of it. Whatever. The newer Heliod would probably be a perfect addition, wouldn't it? Sigil of the Empty Throne, very classic. Starfield Mystic into Starfield of Nyx. Yeah, like this deck. Right off the bat, I see this deck and I'm just like, this thing's ready to like half run. This doesn't need all the upgrades in the world. This deck looks. Back to back, Dryad of Elysian Grove into Eidolon of Blossoms is 2 spectacular additions. Enchantress's Presence, like this Herald of the Pantheons, I think is a newer card. I'd never seen it before, but it seems like a newer card. And if it's not, it's a cool card, and I wish I knew about it before. Like this Sanctum Weaver, this deck just feels, and I know it's the cheapest of the group, it just feels the most put together. Verduran Enchantress. Calyx is always a solid enchantment planeswalker. Calling Ritual, Mirari's Wake just kind of goes. Sithis. Freaking Sithis. I mean, Sithis is a terror. This deck it's ready to roll, son. Just needs a better mana base. It just needs a lot better mana base. All right, so that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate everybody's time and all that good stuff, and people that maybe are just hanging out and just like, hey, just, entertain me for a minute. And I'm like, okay, I got you, bro. That's all I got. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera now, and I'm going to go ahead and relax the rest of the night and chill out. And it's been a long day of filming. For those that don't know out there, I kind of have a tendency that between work schedules and all kinds of things, sometimes I take like a day, and I just go filming crazy. And sometimes by the end of that, I'm a little tired of filming. Today I'm kind of not feeling that way after all the Commander Masters I opened, which is, I think says something to me about the set, actually, because I don't feel exhausted. Like, usually after like 5-6 boxes, I start to be like, oh god, I gotta open another freaking box. I'm not feeling that right now. I'm kind of feeling enthused about this product, no matter how poorly it's holding up on the secondary market. That's wild. Alright, I'm gonna stop jabbering. Thanks for watching.